Okay, welcome. We are in Wisdom in Nature's mutual empathy space for change makers. And as part of this call, we have Shumaisa Khan, or Wisdom in Nature, who's going to be saying a few words, giving a short talk. And the topic, which I'll say, of the talk is how identifying needs actually can't read my handwriting. Shumaisa, what is the title of your talk? So
I don't actually remember.
Okay.
It's about relationships.
Okay, so something about the heart of conscious communities and relational health. So how identifying needs maybe supports, or is at the heart, that's what it is at the heart of conscious communities and relational health. Okay, but yeah, if that helps you know what you're going to talk about, I'll now hand over to you.
Thanks. Bismillah. So yeah, I'm gonna talk a little bit about what I consider to be the heart of nonviolent communication, which is also sometimes referred to as compassionate communication, and that is taken together, feelings and needs, and really that is more rooted in an understanding that humans, we all share the same core set of fundamental life-affirming needs, and such as like there are different kinds, material needs like food and shelter, to more in the realm of relational needs like connection, respect, and so forth. And that when our needs are met, that we have pleasant feelings, or it can be somewhere from like neutral to pleasant, depending on the depth of the unmetness or metness of the need, or how long a need has been going unmet or met. And conversely, if a need is not met, then we can have unpleasant feelings, or somewhere from neutral to unpleasant. And then if we have a mixture of met and unmet needs, we can have a mixture of feelings. And I think that this really helps to have kind of compassion with ourselves, as well as for other people. So really tuning into what is happening firstly in our body. And I'll also say that associated with feelings are sensations. So sensations, I'm going to say, is more in the realm of the body. Like you might feel, you might sense something before you even register it as a feeling. So there might be a sensation of like heat or tightness, constriction, clenching, and at some point that might be registered as something in the realm of an unpleasant feeling, whether that's anxiety, frustration, anger. And conversely, you might have sensations like expansion or warmth, and that might be in the realm of pleasant feelings. And really, the sensations and feelings can both be indicators of what is happening at the level of needs, like what need is being met or unmet. And often, like with this approach, a lot of the focus is on tensions and conflict, and it is really helpful in that way. But I think it's equally valuable to tune into the pleasant feelings and sensations, because they're also important indicators. Like if you're noticing that you're feeling more relaxed doing a certain kind of activity, then maybe that's something like, let's say for livelihood, maybe that's something to lean into, and more, for example. So I think that that all of this I find is helpful to humanize, especially in times of tension and conflict, humanize the other when you come at things grounded and more in like, okay, we all have the same set of core needs, and something is probably not being met for either whether it's myself or the other person or people. And I think often when we're kind of clashing, it can be at a different level, which is at the level of attachment to a particular way of a need being met that differs, or you just might not have an understanding. Like another person might be trying to address one need, and you're trying to address another need, and just even understanding like, oh, actually, they're just two different needs, and coming back to that level of the fundamental human needs can open up more kind of creative approaches to getting those needs met. And I think that another piece that I've noticed and trying to trying to practice this, and being in community with others trying to practice this, is that it is like it has come from the West, this particular kind of framing of nonviolent communication. Obviously, there's a universality to what's underpinning it, and you can kind of find something like that in probably all spiritual traditions, right? Humanizing others and that understanding we're all kind of driven by the same core needs. But I will say that I've, in trying to practice this, noticed that like it is a very individualistic kind of approach to the needs, and in trying to practice it myself, sometimes I am aware that from a non-Western kind of perspective, where there can be more stronger interconnectedness, and like more, like for example, more extended family networks and community networks, that when a need is unmet in a kind of very strong way, it's unmet in a person, because those connections are much stronger, or can be much stronger, it can be really felt by others really connected to that person. And so this is just like a nuance that I'm noticing, and I've talked about with other people from non-Western backgrounds. But I do think it's a really useful framework. And I guess the last thing I'll say is my time before wrapping up is that it helps to be in community to practice it, because it does entail, at least for me, a kind of unlearning and deconditioning from how I've grown up. And it does take slowing down, really. And I've grown up, and many of us have, in a culture of like just fast-pacedness, and to tune into your own body and feelings and others takes like some slowing down. Yeah, so I think I'll stop there.
Great. Thank you, Shumaisa, for that. And the little kind of stilt at the beginning could be a useful reference point to say that when I was unable to remember the title, the feeling I was experiencing was embarrassment, and some anxiety. And the need I have was to know I'm okay, even though I felt like I was messing up. So that was what was going on there. So you could say we planned that in advance just so we could use it as a bit of teaching. So we're going to now pause the recording, and we're going to move into our own interactions, continuing with the mutual empathy space. And so just want to thank you for listening. If you're seeing this somewhere online and you want to give it a thumbs up, please do. And we'll pause the recording. now.